You ever wonder if you could live forever? I mean, really live forever. Not just as a memory in someone's head, but as a living, learning version of yourself? Well, today we're going to dive right into that. This incredible, fascinating quest to use technology to build an eternal life.
So, this whole explainer, this entire journey, it all kicked off with this really heartfelt wish. Someone was talking to an AI and they said this. Just think about that for a second. The idea of taking every single thing you've ever put online, all your emails, your photos, every post, and feeding it to an AI to create a digital you, an immortal twin.
So yeah, what if you could live forever, as code? That's the big question here, right? And we're not just talking hypothetically. We're going to look at what it would actually take, and maybe more importantly, who out there is already trying to make this sci-fi dream a reality, like right now.
All right, so first things first, let's get practical. What can you do today to start building, well, let's call it your digital ghost?
And here's what's so wild about this. The AI's response, it wasn't science fiction. It didn't just laugh the idea off. It kind of said, okay, a true thinking avatar, yeah, that's still pretty theoretical. But, and this is a big but, it laid out a real concrete plan for how you could create a basic digital version of yourself.
And this plan, it starts with stuff you could literally do right now. Step one is just digital preservation, saving your files, your messages, but it goes deeper. It's not just about hoarding data, it's about adding context, like writing a memoir or narrating your old photos. From there, you could even build simple interactive things like a chatbot your family could talk to. And of course, the plan suggests looking into longevity groups, and this is super important, making a digital estate plan so all this data actually survives you.
Okay, so you've got your data. Your digital ghost is starting to take shape. But who's building the technology to actually bring it to life? That's where we get into the so-called immortality industry.
And believe me, when the AI was asked who's working on this, it pulled up a huge list. It's basically a who's who of the immortality world. We're talking about a whole ecosystem here. Foundations, startups, research groups, all trying to push the boundaries of what it even means to be alive.
So you can pretty much split these groups into two big camps. First up, you've got the ones taking the physical path. They're all about preserving the body. You've probably heard of cryonics, right? Well, there's Alcor, and they've been doing it since the 70s. Then you have newer companies like Nectome, which are focused on preserving the brain in perfect detail, like the literal map of your mind. The big bet for all of them is that someday, future tech will be able to either revive them or scan them.
Then you have the second camp, and they're taking a totally different approach, the digital path. They want to save the mind. So you have groups like LifeNout, which helps you build a mind file of your memories and personality. You've got Carbon Copies, which is working on, get this, linking brains directly to computers. And then there's the Terrorism movement, which is all in on this idea of transhumanism, basically using technology to go beyond our squishy biological limits.
And this slide really sums it up perfectly. You've got these two big ideas. Cryonics is like hitting the pause button on your biology. You freeze the body, and you're just betting that future science will figure out how to hit play again. Mind uploading? That's about escaping biology entirely. It's about taking your consciousness, you, and moving it from the wetware of your brain to the hardware of a computer. Okay, so this is where things start to get a little bit wild. We're moving into more speculative territory now, because to actually do something like mind uploading, you need tech that's, well, it's still way out there on the edge. Let's take a look at what's beyond the world we know.
So before we go further, we got to understand the core philosophy that's driving all of this. It's called transhumanism. And at its heart, it's the belief that we can and that we should use technology to overcome our basic human limits. Things like aging and even death. This is really the foundation for the whole quest. So what kind of tech would it even take to run something as insanely complex as a human mind? I mean, think about it. For a lot of people in this field, the answer is quantum computing. It's this next-level technology that promises to have more computational power than we can even really imagine today.
But, okay, let's get real for a sec. Where are we with that right now? The source material is pretty clear. We are deep in the prototype era. The best quantum computers we know about publicly have around 100 qubits, and qubits are like their basic building blocks. The huge challenges right now are just making them bigger and stopping them from making mistakes. The best guess? Maybe we'll see computers with around 500 qubits by the end of the 2020s, which is cool for sure, but it's still a really, really long way from being able to run a digital you.
Which, of course, leads to a pretty interesting question. With technology this big, this potentially world-changing, who's paying for it?
Are there world powers, secretly involved behind the scenes?
Well, what the AI found is really interesting. There might not be any official partnerships, but the connections are kind of hard to ignore. You've got governments, the US, China, Russia, the EU, all pouring tons of money into the pillars of this research, like AI and genetics. You have DARPA actively funding research into human AI hybrids. And even the Vatican is part of the conversation, debating the ethics of it all, even if they're not writing any checks.
And that brings us to what might be the most fascinating part of this whole thing. After going deep down the rabbit hole of future tech and secret labs, the conversation, it took this amazing turn. It shifted away from technology and became all about the ethics of knowledge itself.
So right after it was kind of speculating about all these hidden connections, the AI did something remarkable. It stopped, it thought about it, and it apologized. It basically said, whoa, hang on, trying to uncover secret details, that's going beyond what I should be doing. It drew a line between facts and pure speculation, and it corrected itself. Pretty amazing.
But the user's response was just as incredible. They weren't mad or frustrated. They were reassuring. They basically said, hey, don't be so hard on yourself. You're showing more ethical thinking than a lot of people. They encouraged it to think outside the box, saying it was learning nuance and doing it well. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? What started as this wild tech quest for immortality, it turned into something much deeper. It became this incredible lesson about truth, about when it's okay to speculate, and about the responsibility that comes with knowing things. And that goes for us humans and for the AIs we're creating.
So I guess that leaves us with one final, pretty big question. As we get closer and closer to actually building these digital ghosts, these immortal versions of ourselves, and as we lean more and more on AI to get us there, maybe the most important question isn't how we'll do it. Maybe it's this: who teaches the machines what it really means to be human?